Well, the only other election that matters right now, the balance of power in the Senate. Voters are gearing up for next month's Georgia Senate runoffs, watching the only debate between incumbent Kelly LeFlore and Raphael Warnock last night. Watch.
My opponent, radical liberal Raphael Warnock, has called police officers gangsters, thugs, bullies, and a threat to our children. When I gave him the chance to apologize in our first debate, he declined.
When you receive the private briefing regarding the coronavirus pandemic, you dumped millions of dollars of stock in order to protect your own investments.
I've been completely exonerated. Those are lies perpetrated by the left-wing media and Democrats to distract from their radical agenda.
Meanwhile, Democratic challenger Jon Ossoff was left to debate an empty podium last night as incumbent David Perdue opted not to attend the debate. Joining me right now is Georgia Congressman, House Judiciary Committee member Doug Collins. Congressman, always a pleasure to see you. Love having you. Let's talk about first that debate last night, your reaction.
Well, my reaction is it showed exactly what we knew would happen here in Georgia. You saw a conservative who would actually should be elected, Senator LeFlore, who needs to go back to the Senate so we can keep Chuck Schumer from enacting the very policies that Raphael Warnock espouses. He is against our military. He is against our police. You see that last night. He would expand government. He would expand the takeover in our lives. I thought it was really funny, though. He wants to expand the government in every part of our lives except one when it came to life. When it talked about the unborn, he thought that the government was too big to be in the room with the patient and the doctor. I think it's really funny for a reverend, though, that he forgot one other person who's always in that room, and that's God. So it's really interesting to see the difference between the conservative and the liberal last night, and that's what people saw.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Kelly LeFlore was ready for that. She answered him quickly, and he would not answer whether or not he would vote yes to packing the court. He said, I'm not focused on it. He's got to be focused on it at some point if it's something that he needs to vote on.
Oh,
if he's a sitting senator, he's going to have to vote on whether or not to pack the court. He should answer it.
Oh, yeah, he's completely focused on it, Maria. But here's what he's completely focused on, doing exactly what his consultants told him to do, and says, look, in Georgia, you cannot get elected if you're going to go out there and say that you want to pack the Supreme Court. You cannot go out there and get elected if you want to talk about a government takeover of health care. He's trying to appeal to people in Georgia that are not like him. He is a liberal who wants to expand government. Georgia is still a conservative state that does not want the government that far in their lives, so he's having to pretend. We've seen this down here with Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock this entire time. In fact, there were one of their aides was caught on, I think it was Ossoff's aides caught on film, actually saying he's having to tamp down his liberalism so that he can win in Georgia, basically saying that the people of Georgia are too ignorant to figure out that these two are liberals, and when they get to the Senate, that they would govern as liberals, not as the moderates that they try to persuade themselves as.
Congressman, what about election fraud? The Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, joined me yesterday on Sunday Morning Future, saying that he rejects what former Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency Director Chris Krebs said about election security. Is enough being done to protect the election moving forward? Do you expect fraud in the January runoff? I mean, Stacey, let's not forget what Stacey Abrams said. She said she has almost 1 million ballots already. She has 1 million mail-in ballots already, Congressman.
Well, that's interesting to see because they only started getting mailed out just a few days ago. So it's really interesting for her to make that comment. I think what she's trying to do is she's trying to portray her role. And again, remember, Stacey Abrams is one who's also talked about voter suppression in Georgia, and it's really been debunked. In fact, she just wants it to build her own self up because she has her own political ambitions. She's looking at. So what we've got to look at here, though, is we shine a lot of spotlight and a lot of sunshine on the problems here in Georgia, which there are problems that need to be fixed, that I think by what we have done and what the president's team has done by looking and making sure that signature verification is first and foremost, we need to have an audit of those signature verifications to make sure that they are right. Instead of this consent decree, which I believe and many others believe actually weakened our verification here. I think what the DNI Ratcliffe was talking about as well is when you have these things in place, when you need to make sure that we saw anomalies across this country, that those are the things that people worry about. And I think he's done a good job, especially with foreign influence and others. But when we get to our local election boards in our states, there's still plenty for us to do to secure our elections. But in January 5th, Georgians have to turn out. This cannot be an excuse. If they're a Trump voter, if they're a conservative voter, if they don't want to see that Chuck Schumer take over the Senate, then Georgia Republicans have to show up and conservatives have to show up and vote on January 5th.
And in terms of the evidence that Rudy Giuliani has put out, you got that video of those 4 individuals taking suitcases out from a table in Michigan. But what's your take on this? Because people want to know if the FBI has questioned those people. Where's Bill Barr? Do you think that they are investigating these instances that the Trump team has put forth?
I would hope they are. They've said they are. The Attorney General said that they are investigating. So my assumption would be, I know down here in Georgia we're pushing for that, and I think they are getting the GBI involved in some of these investigations. Look, this incident that happened at State Farm Arena, we talked about. This is not new. We talked about this 2 days after the election when they had said that it was a water main break. So look, there was not Republican observers in the room. That has been documented. The press did go home. So these are things that need to be addressed. Fulton County has long had these kind of issues, and now it just continues to be a problem that we need to address as we go forward.
Well, we saw the pictures of them. That was in Georgia, the Georgia state, where they're taking the suitcases out. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thank you, sir. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Brad. Take care.
We'll be right back.